Hey there, it's Stephanie Shea, Chief Astrologer for janspiller.com with your monthly horoscope, and this one's for you Pisces. June is going to be a good month to slow your pace and focus on matters at home. Now, there are some new beginnings bubbling on the horizon, but there's not astrological support to make a big change or decision really until July. So the end of the month could feel extra emotional, and there's a full moon that just the day before Neptune stations retrograde in your sign. I always like to give a heads up about astrology that particularly affects a certain zodiac sign. When you know it's coming, it won't take you as much off guard, and you can actually kind of lean into it and work with it. Now, we'll back up and start at the beginning of the month, however. We've got Mercury Retrograde in Gemini. This started back on May 29th, and it lasts until June 22nd. This energy orients you towards the past. It's a really good month to reconnect with family members, and childhood memories could surface. It's a really productive time for journaling. Anyone who's writing a memoir, you might have some extra inspiration for that because Gemini and Mercury both rule writing. And it's a good time to release difficult memories or feelings from the past. So you can think all about resolving the past, releasing the past, anything to do with wrapping up things that have already happened or already been started. That's going to give you a bit of a clean slate for next month once we're out of the retrograde, and you'll free up some mental bandwidth to move forward. Now, Venus is going to enter Cancer on June the 2nd. This really lends a pretty sweet vibe to romantic relationships. There's an emphasis on emotional connection, and it's a great time to get to know loved ones on a deeper level. Think quiet talks, quiet times, some one-on-one time with special people. This is what's going to probably feel best this month. The introverted energies are going to encourage you to just keep things simple, not get, into big group coordination or busyness like that. And you're also going to be supported in parenting or working with children, as well as any creative projects. So that's all pretty good news. Now, we've got this first solar eclipse of 2021, June the 10th at 19 degrees of Gemini. Now, solar eclipses are high-powered new moons that often stir the energy, and they prompt some sort of ending or beginning, not necessarily on that day. I've seen it happen, but a lot of times you look back in the weeks around those eclipses is when things really started to shift, either with some different circumstances or with a shift in perspective and awakening and awareness, this type of thing. And the solar eclipse new moons are super powerful times for intention setting. If you have Jan Spiller's book, New Moon Astrology, no doubt you know all about this. If you don't have it, highly recommend it. You can really work with this solar eclipse new moon to set intentions, not just for the coming moon cycle, but for the next 6 months. And it's a really good time for Pisces and Pisces rising people to set intentions that have to do with home, family, and long-term security, as well as releasing the past, developing better communication skills, and keeping an open mind. So there's a lot to work with. If you want to learn more about the eclipses of 2021, I've made a video on the channel. There's a whole playlist, Astrology of 2021, and there's one called Eclipses of 2021 that you can check out and learn more about this eclipse and the following ones this year. Now, June 11th, Mars moves into Leo, and that will help you feel more confident in your work life. You're probably going to be energized, and healthy routines might become more of a focus. It's going to be harder to establish brand new habits, but you will be supported in efforts to reinstate health-related regimens from the past. So think along those lines. Now we've got Saturn and Uranus in an exact square on June the 14th. The Saturn-Uranus square is big time astrology for the year. It's in effect all year, but this month is important because the square is exact, and so we're probably going to feel it more strongly around this time. Now, your big picture dreams are featuring prominently. You're scheduled to see your life from a new perspective. A shift in attitude could unlock the door to a path maybe that you hadn't seen or that seemed blocked in some ways. You could be learning some lessons that involve finding your people. If you've been thinking there's a disconnect between some of the people surrounding you, this is a big piece of the puzzle, and detaching from people who don't acknowledge your unique gifts. So it's a big time. You may make some changes to who's close to you in your life, but it's all pushing you in the direction of being more of your authentic self and fulfilling your potential. Now we've got Jupiter stationing retrograde in your sign on June the 20th, so you might feel that a little bit. That's not the same as an inner planet retrograde, but I think it does direct your energy a bit inward, and with Jupiter being the planet of luck, I always think when it's retrograde, we have to make our own luck a little bit more than getting it from outside sources. And Jupiter retrograde happens on the same day the sun moves into Cancer, which is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice down under. And this astrology is really highlighting the importance of emotional connections and listening to your intuition. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this horoscope that Neptune is stationing retrograde in Pisces, and that's happening on June the 25th. This is something you might feel quite personally. Neptune is the ruling planet for Pisces. And so I would plan to slow down and be gentle with yourself around this Neptune stationing retrograde on June 25th. Jan Spiller was big on this, making sure that people didn't try to force decisions. It can feel like a bit of a foggy time. You may even need a little extra sleep. Now, you won't feel like this the whole time Neptune is in retrograde because that's going to be about 5 months. But right around the station, good time to have a heads up. Right around the same time is a full moon, June 24th at 3 degrees of Capricorn. This full moon is going to illuminate issues related to friendships, groups, and your big picture dreams. So as we move into July, you could be making some decisions that involve your long-term future plans. This full moon can offer information that helps to orient you in the right direction. And a good friend might actually offer you some valuable insights. Avoid power struggles should they arise, and instead focus on your responsibilities. That's the best use of this full moon energy. So I hope you can make the most of June's astrology. There's a lot going on. Take things step by step. Definitely take things slow and be safe and be well. I'll see you here next month with your horoscope.